Have you ever wondered how much money you can make on Airbnb? I get that question all of the time. What are the real numbers? How much money are people really making? I'm going to tell you how and share you how much I make. In this video, we're going to dive deep on how you can make the most money with your Airbnb, how to maximize that. I'm going to give you all of the tips, tricks, tools, tips to do it. We're going to talk about what you should be looking at, where you should be handing your research, where you should be researching to find and make the most money on Airbnb. I'm going to tell you exactly how to research, how to use Airbnb to actually help you on Airbnb, where to look, what to do, and how to find the best ways to make money on your Airbnb using Airbnb's platform with the information that's already there. And finally, we're going to talk about how to take it to the next level and turn your business into a $1 million Airbnb business. So let's dive into the number one thing that you need to know when you're trying to make a lot of money on Airbnb, because you are going to make a ton of money on Airbnb if you listen to the things that I'm going to teach you. So again, the first thing is going to be about how many people the property sleeps. So this comes down to number of beds. So many people miss this. This is the important thing. It's not about the number of rooms. It's not about, how many rooms the property has or how many bathrooms the property has. It's really about how many beds the property has. Airbnb stands for, if you don't know, the air in Airbnb actually stands for air mattress, okay? So the inventors, founders, or whatever you want to call it, of Airbnb started off with air mattresses and making money renting out their own property. So they count the beds, and that's so important with this platform, is to know that they're talking about how many beds, and you want to maximize that. So you want to put as many beds in a room as you can sometimes. Now, again, don't go crazy and just fill the room up with beds, but know that this is super important to your profitability, and you want rooms that have lots of beds in them. You want to do the bunk beds. You want to do the trundle beds. You want to have air mattresses in the closet. You want to have and be able to sleep as many people as possible in your space. So number two, if you want to really make money on Airbnb, you really got to start looking at what hotels are charging in the area. You're not competing against other Airbnbs. You're competing against the hotels. And just think, if you can just get one of those rooms per night and your property is getting one of those rooms, that's your money. So if a hotel has 500 rooms and they're getting $133 a night, all you're trying to do is get some of those rooms from their business, the hotel, to your business on Airbnb. The next thing that you want to do that's super important when you're making money with Airbnb is you want to research what other properties on Airbnb are, what they look like, what the interior is like, how many beds do they have. Research your competition and see what's out there, and charge more than they charge. I know that sounds crazy. I'm telling you to look and see what they're charging, but I'm also telling you, you're probably going to charge more than what they're charging. That's the key to making money on Airbnb. You got to know that most people are giving their properties away for free and they are not making enough money, but you can. That's why I said in the previous one, you want to look at what hotels are charging, not what Airbnb is charging, because there's so many things that we can do where we charge what the hotel is charging and then we give a nice little discount and it draws people right to our listing. When we're talking about how much money you can make on Airbnb, you gotta maximize what you're making. So when you look on Airbnb's platform and you check out your competition, and even before you even get on Airbnb, you can go onto their website and they're gonna give you what the average person is making on a property similar to yours. That's going to give you a great idea of how much you can make, but we're going to take that a step further, because on average, they're going to tell you probably about half of what you're really going to make doing some of the things that I teach you. So just know that you could pretty much double the number that they are saying. So if you see that in your area, the average is $1,000 per month, please know that if you listen to me and you follow the things that I'm teaching you on this channel for free, you're gonna double that, and that's how I make $2,000 to $3,000 and $4,000 per month on my properties, just one property. You gotta look at their numbers and then know that you're gonna make double. And number 4, when we're talking about how much money can you make on Airbnb, you gotta know that the real money is going to be in longevity. You wanna stick with this and you wanna become a super host. Once you become a super host, Airbnb is going to reward you. They're going to push your property to the top, and then you can increase your prices. Being a super host comes with a number of benefits that you want to capitalize on, and Airbnb helps you to start making a lot of money on your properties when you're an Airbnb host. So that is the real key and the real ways that we make a lot of money on Airbnb. And like I promised, I was going to share with you how much money I make on Airbnb. So right now I have 15 properties on Airbnb. 5 of them, though, I co-own with another person. So before I just jumped in, I'm going to give you a quick story. Before I just jumped into this Airbnb thing, like I said, I was a landlord. I had regular rental properties with regular tenants in them, and I was not hip to the short-term rental game or to Airbnb. But I had a younger friend, a guy that I know, and he had some properties that he was interested in getting, and he just needed an investment. So I invested in him, helped him get a few properties, and within 6 months, I could easily see that what he was doing with Airbnb was totally blowing out the water what I was doing with my regular rental properties. And that's when I made the switch. So with those 5 properties, he was making on average, and these were just apartments and townhomes, okay? None of these were big houses. None of these were 4 bedrooms and 5 bedrooms. None of the big properties that we're talking about. I'm talking just apartments, 1 bedrooms and 2 bedrooms. Nothing crazy. And on his, actually, he had 1 studio in there because he got 1 studio apartment. The studio apartment was making about $1,500 a month, and the other properties were making over $2,000 a month, like maybe $2,100, $2,000. But just say, again, $1,500 a month and $2,000 a month. Meanwhile, I'm thinking I'm doing well with my rental properties, getting about $700 to $800 per month, which again is really good. I've told you most people don't even make that on their rental properties. That is coming out to be a little less than $500,000 per year. And then the numbers that he was making on those 5 properties was about the same. Okay, that's crazy. So he had 5 properties, and he was getting, it was about $250,000 per year is what he was projecting out based on the 6 months. And that, again, is not including just the nightly fees, but it also was some of the other things that I've taught you guys with charging for extra gas and allowing pets in the properties and things like that, really maximizing the profits. And then once you really get into this game, we've scaled it, because what he was able to do was those duplicate people that wanted to come to the properties again, he didn't go through the Airbnb platform, so he had them booked directly with him, and he gets all of the money. Now, this is not something that you want to just go out and do, because Airbnb does have a lot of protections that I want you guys to take advantage of, like the insurance. But once someone has stayed in your property and they've shown themselves as a great guest, you can book them yourself, and you don't, and I'm not saying cut Airbnb out, but you can cut Airbnb out of it and get the money directly to yourself. So to your business, which is why I tell you to do it as a business, because you don't want it just to come to you. You want it to come to your business. Okay. Hopefully you learned everything about how much money you can make with Airbnb and how much money I make with Airbnb. And hopefully you're super excited and you're really interested in doing this, because there's a ton of money to make. So go ahead. I'm going to take this opportunity and ask you, as I always do, to please, please, please subscribe to my channel so that I can keep bringing you this content, keep making you great videos, basically giving you a free course on my YouTube channel, showing you exactly what to do step by step so that you can be successful. All right, to your success.